first things first, you need to think of a concept to follow off of so it doesn't end in a disaster. Once you're done with that, open up Pixlab. Start placing your images. Make sure to be experimental and try different images and positions to see what looks right and what doesn't. Change the brightness and contrast of your images so everything isn't too in the face. Now it's time for Pixlab's signature feature, texts. You may want to download some fonts instead of using the crappy default ones first. I suggest you get creative with your placement as it really adds something to the photo. Next up, open Snapseed. Usually I like to add shadows to make everything a bit more realistic, so what you want to do is make brightness 0 and contrast 100, then use the stacks brush to make it only in certain areas. Next, I usually add a blur around the photo. This works decently, especially when used on photos that include a lot of dots such as the stars here. Now I'll add some grunge to the moon since it's looking a bit strange right now. Next, I'm going to add some vignette to change the mood a bit. Eventually I tune the image and adjust brightness, contrast, ambience and highlights. I don't usually use the expand tool, but for the sake of the tutorial you can change the dimensions without the edges being transparent when doing so. Normally I'd add the smoke at the very bottom of the image, but I believe it'll look better just on the moon. Now this part is slightly crucial. Adding some lights make a big difference, but don't do it very early on. Now it's time for some color correcting via curves. Increase whatever is the main color in your edit. In this case mine is blue. Now I'll add a bit more blur and we're almost done. Again, I don't normally do this, but for the sake of showing the tool off you can change the perspective. Making some final touches and we're done.